The community that you've built is too big to develop and hold you. Find your 2 or 3. Who are those people?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm your host, Justin Roethlingshoefer, and if there's a hint of hoarseness in my voice, it's because I am coming off of doing 50 hours in the studio getting Holy Health ready to launch, as well as doing just this morning 6 hours of breath work. Yes, 6 hours of breath work content. And when we think about 6 hours of breath work content, it's not like doing a podcast because in a podcast I can talk, I can be animated, I can ad lib, I can go in any direction and change my tonality. But in breath work, we have to be steadfast and speak with a quiet voice, something that's calming, that reaches you, that calms the nervous system. And that's exhausting. But guys, I'm so excited for what's coming down the pipe. And again, thank you for being here, using the Own It Show, us at Own It, us at Holy Health, to empower, educate, equip you to take ownership of your health so that you can step into all that God's got for you. Because my goodness, health, as this crazy world is continuing to lean more into it, it's only becoming more and more aware that we need the right health and the right teaching and the right education and the right empowerment, because it has never been more conflicting. Today, hopefully you share this podcast with somebody, because it is going to be something that I think opens a lot of people's eyes and challenge us in ways that maybe we haven't been challenged before. Today, it's something that's quietly eroding the health of the world, even as the health and wellness industry keeps telling us that we're thriving. And it's something that I have felt in my life. I'm going to give you real life examples. And I've had to say no to a lot of over a couple past years. And that no, the Lord has blessed, because it's been something that He's been asking of me. We're living in a time where we have more access to community than any other generation in history. But we've never been more disconnected, more lonely, or more unaware of who we belong to. That presents a massive conflict in the world of wellness today. Because everywhere you look, on social media, on podcasts, on different companies popping up, even in the wellness trends. I'm a part of wellness trends, and everybody's got a new community for you to join. Join a bigger community, go to the conference, join the tribe, join the movement, build a following, get more people, get more voices, get more connection, be a part of it. But the truth is that we're drowning in communities, but starving for connection. And the problem is that the bigger the community is, quite often the more there's counterfeit hidden underneath it. And you see, the wellness community has turned, or the wellness world, I should say, has turned community into a brand asset. It sells larger groups, bigger events, more followers, more faces on a Zoom call, more names inside a Slack channel, more people in a Facebook group. But community built on scale alone is a counterfeit connection. You think you belong, you feel like you belong, but yet you still have this empty feeling inside. You still have this space of lack of development, this facade that you're able to put on because nobody really knows you or what's actually happening or going on. And the more that we chase it, the more we feel unseen, the more we feel unheard, the more we feel unanchored, unvalued, and even unknown. And we stack ourselves into this massive circles trying to belong, but your soul quietly whispers, no one actually knows me here. No one actually calls me out here. Nobody actually calls me up here. Nobody can speak into what it is that I'm going through. And it's the illusion of community that costs intimacy. It's the illusion of community without the cost or intimacy of it. And for me, this has become real, where I've been asked to join a bunch of communities, a bunch of entrepreneur communities, a bunch of founders communities, a bunch of founders communities in the wellness industry, a bunch of fitness communities. And even when I would give them a go and I would say yes, I would leave feeling like everybody was just trying to get something out of you. Everybody was just trying to manipulate the access for something greater. Oh, hey, come on my podcast. Oh, hey, endorse my book. Oh, hey, promote my service or offering. Rather than like, no, I'm struggling a little bit. I want to develop you as the man. I want to develop you as the woman. I want to know your heart. I want to understand what your struggles are. I want to understand where you're winning. I want to understand where you're losing. You know what? I want to help develop you as a person so that you can have a better relationship with your son, with your daughter, with your mother, with your father, with your husband, with your wife, with your friends. And when we talk iron sharpens iron, everybody's willing to say that quote, but really what we're doing is it's just pillows trying to sharpen pillows, or iron start trying to sharpen another pillow. And at the end of the day, none of that actually works. It's only when you have iron going against iron, which is a hard, vicious, sometimes uncomfortable thing. that we see something different. Because there's something I call the wellness paradox. And here's what the paradox is that the wellness industry keeps telling us to surround ourselves with more people, while our nervous system keeps begging us for fewer people, deeper connections with people, truer people. You can see, because like most people don't need a crowd, they need a confidant. They need someone to go to battle with. They need somebody to walk the road with. They need somebody that they can look in the eyes and say, man, I see you. Man, I know you. Man, I'm not going anywhere. Man, you're a priority in my life. The crowd will cheer for you, even when the actions don't need or deserve cheering. But the few, my goodness, the few will change you. The few will change you. And I love looking at the Jesus model, I call it, because it's upside down and backwards. He changed the model. It's small but sacred. Matthew 18:20, I believe, says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I with them. You don't need 4,500 people to go and gather for a run in order to feel connected. Maybe it's just 2 or 3. Jesus never said where the masses gather. He never said where the influencers gather. He never said where the founders gather. He never said where the kings gather. He never said where the movement grows. He never says where the conference sells out. He never says where the mastermind builds. He said 2 or 3. But 2 or 3 isn't sexy, so we dismiss it. Transformation doesn't require scale. It requires presence. It requires commitment. It requires agreement. It requires honesty, humility, a shared pursuit. And I challenge you, because like I was this person, guys. Like I was this person who was in all these communities, was in the big mastermind groups. And I was trying to develop relationships and friends. It was like, well, number one, I met some good people here, but I don't have a relationship with you. I met you at an event, but then I move away and I do my own life. And I struggle on a day-to-day, and you don't pick up the phone to call. I might text you off the cuff. You might text me off the cuff, but there's no depth. There's no walking. There's no discipling. There's no going on a journey. And it was about 2 years ago that God said to me, he said, I don't need you to be in the masses for the communities. I need you to be in the small. I need you to be in the small places where I can ultimately have you with the right people to develop you and bring you to the places where you're going to be able to grow. And so not only was that what I built, but that's what I ultimately retreated back to. And the deep disconnect here is that we need to come back to understanding that we don't need to be fearful what's on the other side. We actually need to be encouraged with what's on the other side, because the framework works. And I want to come back to like the true component of this and why this matters for our health. Because research shows that isolation destroys nervous system regulation. We know that we say isolation is where burnout thrives, is where mental health starts to decay. But the real reason why isolation ultimately does that or causes that is because it destroys our nervous system regulation. Loneliness elevates cortisol. It elevates cortisol, the stress response. Lacking deep relationships increases mortality. Authentic connection heals trauma. It truly heals trauma, like real deep connection. Being known actually lowers inflammation. Community increases HRV and improves recovery. God's design and biology are saying the same thing. Hey, I want you to heal in a small, committed community. We break down in large, shallow ones. And we see it with how he actually operated. Jesus had 3 that he confided in, 3 people. 3 that he brought into his inner circle. 3 that he did the hardest things with. 3 that he went to battle with. 3 that he told his most deepest secrets. 3 that he actually developed to rise up and ultimately to have support for him. 3 that he called up. Then the other 9 he kept close to him in a community, but still at a distance. Those 3 knew where he was. The other 9 often didn't. And then it was the masses. See, I'm not saying the masses are bad, but I'm saying that if that's what you think community is, man, we got to take another look at this. Who are your 3? Who are your 3 that you do real life with? And I'm not talking about your spouse or your dad or your mom. I'm talking about like 3 people who really sharpen you, that you have hard conversations with, that you sit in development with. They're the coaches in your life. They're the mentors in your life. They're the people who have a small, tight, intimate community with. And then who are those 9? Those 9 that you love to do life with still, but you keep them a little bit more at a distance. They don't have as easy access to you. And then who's on that outer circle, that outer ring, that get the best of you because you've had the inner experiences? So my question to you today is, who are in those 3 circles? Who's in your inner circle of 3? Who's in your outer circle of 9? And who's in the very outmost circle? And how do you need to start rearranging those? Are you chasing community or are you cultivating connection? You joining bigger rooms and only focused on, hey, what can I get out of this, or what can my business prosper out of this? Or are you actually going in for deeper relationships and getting a model that looks like 3, 9, and the many? If you've been feeling spread thin, unseen, or even disconnected, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's oftentimes because the community that you've sought or the community that you've built is too big to develop and hold you. So find your 2 or 3. Who are those people? Identify them, write them down, call them, text them, bring them into that. Set something up to do something real with them consistently. Lean into them, share honestly, let yourself be known, let them be seen. Because that space, that small sacred space, not only will God promise to show up, but that's where transformation happens. Because when he shows up, everything changes. Everything changes. So I encourage you to lean in. Get clear on what that looks like for you. Share it honestly, share it openly, share it convictingly. Lean into it because we know success is different. So own your different. We'll see you next week.